Hey class, Miss right here. We're still talking about courage. I've got my friend Yappy here that's going to join us. It says, if you pet my little head, I'm pretty blue, but if you pet the other way, I'll turn a bright purple just for you. So we're going to set Yappy right here while we read a book about I Am Jane Goodall by Brad Meltzer. And I do believe that Jane Goodall showed some courage. Let's go find out. I am Jane Goodall. On my first birthday, my father bought me a cuddly toy chimpanzee named Jubilee. Jubilee, meet Jane, my father said. I love Jubilee. I mean, loved Jubilee. I used to carry Jubilee with me everywhere I went. As I got older, when I'd line up all my toys and play teacher, Jubilee was the only one who had his own chair. I would say to him, okay, class, now who knows what rabbits like to eat? Yes, Jubilee. Correct as always, you are. I didn't just love my chimpanzee, though. I loved all animals, even the earthworms that I found in the garden. Mother said, did you bring the earthworms inside the house, Jane? Don't worry, Mom. They're safe as can be. Right under my pillow. My mom told me the worms would be safer in the garden, so we took them outside and buried them back in their home. At 5 years old, I was curious to learn about chickens and how they laid eggs, so I crawled into my grandmother's hen house to watch. At first, all the hens were scared of me. Then I decided to crouch in the corner. If I had moved, the hens would have ran away. I was patient, though. Finally, after all the hours of waiting, I saw what I was looking for. The hen gave a little wiggle. Plop! There was an egg. Where are you? You've been missing for so long. We sent out a search party for you, Mom and Dad said. You'll never believe where eggs come from, Jane said. It was my first research project. In the book, there's a parrot who says that if you want to learn how animals talk, you need the power of observation. But what I remember most is the part where Dr. Dolittle and his animal friends are being chased and they come to a cliff. Right there, the monkeys join hands and feet. They became the bridge. Isn't that beautiful? We can accomplish anything by working together. A bridge, quick, make a bridge. After reading that book, I vowed that I would go to Africa and live amongst the animals. By the time I was 12, I had my own nature group, the Alligator Club. My friends and I raised money to help old horses. We took nature walks and wrote down what we saw, or at least I did. And if you wanted to have a high rank in the club, this is what you would say. You have to be able to recognize 10 dogs, 10 birds, 10 trees, 5 butterflies or moths. How about I go first? Something tells me she's going to make them all perfectly. Each of us had our own animal name. Jane was the red admiral, named after a beautiful butterfly. Was I the best student? Not really. On school days, it was hard for me to wake up. I didn't like being indoors. But if we were outside or there were animals around, that's when I would get excited. Here's what happened. Guess how many pets I had? There was a lizard with no legs named Ivor, iguana pig named Gani and Jimmy, racing snails with numbers painted on them, Pickles the cat, Hamlet the hamster, and Peter the canary. And that didn't include the dogs that I looked after, like my favorite Rusty, who liked wearing pajamas. Woof! That means that he likes pajamas. The trip took 21 days by boat. I was 23 years old. It all seemed like a dream until I saw a giraffe who stared directly at me in my eyes. It had dark eyes, long lashes, a black tongue, and was chewing acacia thorns. I knew my dream was coming alive. Finally, I was in this Africa of Dr. Doolittle, just where I wanted to be. 2 months later, my life changed again. Someone told me, if you're interested in animals, you must meet Dr. Leakey. He was an anthropologist, which means that he studied how humans live, and also a paleontologist, which means he studied fossils and bones. At first, he hired me as a secretary, but he was quickly impressed with what I knew about animals, including his own pets. He said, "Dr. Louis Leakey here. Nice to meet you. I'm Jane Goodall. I hear you like animals," he said. "You have no idea," Jane said. Eventually, Dr. Leakey told me about a new job studying chimpanzees up close. He said going into the forest would be hard and it would be dangerous. But if you could find out how chimps live today, we learn more about our own prehistoric ancestors used to live. I said, "I have no college degree, no training, and no experience, but I want the job." He said, "Jane, I've been waiting for you to say that." For a year, I read everything I could about chimpanzees. I was also told that women couldn't be alone in the forest. They said I needed a guide plus a companion. My mom offered to come, but I was ready to go alone. They've always observed in a lab. No one has studied them in the jungle where they actually live. I knew you wouldn't give up. I'll never forget the day, July 16, 1960, the day I first set foot in what is today Gombe National Park in Tanzania, Africa. At 26 years old, I had finally made it to the home of chimpanzees. It was a place that would absolutely change my life. During one of my first explorations, we saw 2 chimpanzees eating in a tall tree. They noticed us and ran away. The next day, we didn't see any chips at all. There were no chips the day after that either. They're scared of us. For a month, I tried to get close, but they kept running away. Then I started going alone, just me. I'd go to a high area called the Peak and look down with my binoculars. In time, I saw that the chimpanzees would hang out in groups of 6 or fewer. The female chips would be with the children. The male chips would be with one another. These weren't mindless animals. This was a community. This was my secret. Be patient. Learn how they live. Slowly move closer and closer. Still, it took nearly a year before I could get within 100 yards of the chimpanzees. One day, I came back to and found out that the next day I waited and there were no chimpanzees in sight. Then at 4 p.m., I heard a rustling noise by my tent. One of the male chimpanzees took over food, including bananas. Fantastic. That means they're not scared of me now. I bet he'll be back tomorrow. It was the large male chimpanzee with a thick beard, David Graybeard. That was the name that I gave him. Back then, people told me there was a certain way to study animals, that I shouldn't give the chimpanzees any names. They said animals are supposed to have numbers, not names. Why? They thought animals didn't have any personalities or emotions. They thought that if we gave them names, we'd start pretending that they were like us. Over time, by seeing the chimpanzees as individuals, I could truly understand them. David was calm, though he liked getting what he wanted. Goliath was easily excited. William was shy. Ode Flo was a strong mother, always bringing her daughter and son. Said, "Who wants another banana?" "It's okay, pal. Calm down." As I watched, I learned one of the coolest things of all. One day, I saw David Graybird stripping leaves from a twig, then sticking the twig into a termite mound. He wasn't just using the twig as a tool, he had made that tool. Before that, scientists thought only humans could make tools. There was no doubt that these animals were extremely intelligent. Every night, I'd write in my journal about what I observed, and every day I saw the chimpanzees doing the same things that we do. Holding hands, tickling, kissing, even patting backs to reassure each other. The more that I observed, the more that I learned. Soon, I had so much information, I needed a tape recorder. Then I needed an assistant to help observe all the other chimpanzee families in the forest. 6 years later, what started with a notepad and binoculars became a full research center. Now I was the one in charge. Today, thanks to our work in Tanzania, the whole world knows that animals have their own personalities and complex relationships. Isn't it wonderful? Look what we can build together. That's the most beautiful way, is to live together. Today, Dr. Goodall's work has grown, reminding people everywhere that we will share this earth every day. When we protect the planet, we protect each other. Even now, along with Jane Goodall Institute, she's working to save endangered species, including her beloved chimpanzees, while also taking care of our environment. With more than 150,000 groups of young people in 130 plus countries, the Roots and the Shoot Network connects youth of all ages who share a desire to create a better world. Give them a call. You can be an environmentalist too. Want to work with animals one day? Watch your favorite animals and see what they do. Make notes, read books about them. They're so much like us. The end. What a beautiful, beautiful story about Jane Goodall. And I think she sees so much that we all have in common with other animals. So if you have a love for animals, go after your dream, because the sky's the limit. I want you all to show some courage today. Be kind and have a great day. See you soon. Bye for now.